Okay, we start up anyway. The thing is, these are basics of any of the programming language. Okay, so they might be aware of these basics. Okay, so this one will be a little bit helpful who all are from non-computers gadgets. Okay, so we'll try to see like VB script basics. Okay, so yes, any of the sorry. Yeah, right, this is first class only. I just during introduction what is the advantage of VB scripting, where exactly it will be helpful in our automation, that's what I have discussed during VB script introduction. But here I'll be really starting with VB script basics. Okay, so this is VB. So as you're aware of any of the programming language, you come across like basics like data types, variables, arrays, conditional statements, iterative statements, or something like that. Okay, so loops. Okay, so exactly in VB script also you come across all these different stuff. Okay, so we'll try to see like these are the basics you come across like data types, variables, constants, conditional statements, iterative statements. Okay, functions and procedures. These are the different things. We go one by one. What is data type? A data type is nothing but like which type of data, I mean to say like which type of data you are going to store in a specific variable. Okay, so that is nothing but like data type. That means like in your mathematics you come across 1 2 3. What do you call this one? Integers. Okay, integers. Okay, 1.2 2.3 something like that. These are nothing but like real numbers. Real numbers you can call it, right? Exactly like your name Rama, you can consider it as string. Okay, gender if you consider like M or F, that one is nothing but like single character. That kind of data you want to store means like character. Okay. Okay, so then date also you can store, right? What is your date of birth? That one how you can store in the form of like date, in the type of date like date. Like that any of the programming language if you take, there are different types of data types you come across. Okay, but in VB script you come up with only one data type, that is nothing but like variant. Okay, once you define any of the variable with variant data type, in that variable any kind of data you can store like integer, real or float or string or date. Any type of data you can store into that variable. Okay, so in VB script one common data type you will come across, that is nothing but like variant. Okay, so different kinds of information it will store. So this one I can explain you like during functions. What is a function is in my automation introduction portion I could have explained like login in 1000 scripts you have to use. So instead of using or recording independently in 1000 scripts, what you can do is in one script, one function you can make it. That function you can reuse in 1000 scripts. That is nothing but like reusability, right? Reusability. So that means main program you will be dividing into sub programs. Those sub programs are in such a manner like which all are the repeatable steps you are having. Those repeatable steps you can make it as a function. That function you can use in your main program, whatever the way you feel comfortable or your requirement. Okay, so that is nothing but like function. We'll come across this concept at the time I will explain in detail. Okay, So this is nothing but like function. So in VBScript you come up with one common data type, that is nothing but like variant. In any other programming language, if you go, you come across integer, real, float, string, character, like the so many different types of data you come across. But in VBScript only one data type you come across. In that data type you can store whatever the kind of data you want. Okay, so here in variant data type different subtypes you come across. Those are nothing but like empty, boolean. What do you mean by boolean? Once you define any of the variable with boolean, there you can store boolean type of data like true or false. True or false kind of data you have to store. So at that time you can go for like boolean. Okay, then integer, long, single, byte, double, date, date and time, string, object, error. So these are the different types of subtypes you come across in variant. Normally in VBScript all these subtypes you may not get a chance. Okay, so just for awareness purpose you try to remember. Okay. So empty, what is the difference between empty and null? During empty, what it will do is it will store value 0 in that location. Null means it doesn't store any of the value, even 0. Okay, so that is the difference between empty and null. Boolean, I said right, either 0 or 1 you can store in boolean. That means like 0 or 1 means 0 or 1 means it's true or false. It's true or okay. So empty is nothing but like by default it will get to store 0. Okay, null means even 0 also it won't get stored, it will get like a space will be empty. Boolean, okay, so contains either true or false. Byte means 2 to the power 8, right? 2 to the power 8. 2 to the power 8 means 0 to 2 to the power of 8. If you count, it will come across like 256. Okay, so 0 to 255 you want to store. At that point of time you can go for using byte. Integer, 2 to the power 16. Currency means 2 to the power 32. Long means 2 to the power 64. Okay, so just for awareness purpose you try to remember and you keep it reference. Really you will never get a chance to use all this kind of variable. Okay, single, 2 to the power of something will come across 122 or something like that. Okay, double means little bit more you will come across. Okay, so date type of store data you have to store means you can go for like date, first name, last name or middle name. Those are nothing but like strings, right? So that kind of data, date you have to store means you can go for date data type. Object and error, in our QTP VB scripting you have to come up with creating your own kind of object. Whatever we discussed so far like still string, those one are nothing but like predefined. VB script predefined. You have to come up with your own kind of objects. So at that time what you can do is you can create your own object with the help of object. Some syntax you will take to follow. Okay, that one I will explain at that point of time. So as of now you can remember object is nothing but like some you can create your own objects. How you will create going forward I will explain it. And to be frank, this one some additional information purpose, you will never come across using this kind of different types of data in your real time. Okay, okay, Then you come across like variable. Variable is nothing but like a placeholder. Okay, so in your hard disk will be there, right? Hard disk normally how it will work out is okay, let us suppose this is your hard disk. So what they will do is this one uh, they will divide into tracks. Okay, tracks into sectors, sectors into subsectors, like that they will divide. Okay, tracks into sectors, sectors into subsectors, like that. So whenever you define any of the variable in your qtp anywhere, okay, so in qtp, as I said, like one common data type you will get a chance to use, so that is nothing but like dim. Variable name you can give like variable 1, variable 2, something like that. Okay, so whenever any of the variable you define like this, internally computer memory inside what it will do is it will divide into tracks, tracks into sectors, sectors into subsectors, like that. And so here you define dim. For dim, let us suppose, okay, once you define dim in VB script, any type of data you can store in this variable. Okay, normally in another programming language means integer employee id, like this you will define. But our string means string string name, like this you will say. Okay, okay, but in VB script only one common data type you will use, so that is nothing but like dim. Okay, so whenever you define dim, if you are storing in this variable like integer, it will treat it as integer. You are storing date, while running in that variable you are storing date, so it will consider it as date data type. You are storing string, it will consider it as string data type. So whenever you assign whenever you define any of the variable internally within your computer's memory, it will allocate some space like this. Okay, so each and everything 8 digits it will get stored. How many you come across? 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so like this it will get assigned the data, it will store in such a manner. Okay, so variable is nothing but like a placeholder in your memory. Okay, so that is nothing but like variable. You got it, right? So any of the variable you can define with the help of dimension. Dim is nothing but like dimension. Once you define dimension, any type of data you can store in that variable. We'll get a chance to use at the time, you will get to know very clear. Okay. Okay, so that is nothing but like a dimension. So there are two types of variables you come across. This is not only in VBScript, any of the programming language. Can anybody tell? So what are the two types of variables? Scalar variables and array variables. Any of the programming language if you go, there are two types of variables you come across. Okay, so those are nothing but like scalar variables and array variables. Okay, so once you define variable like this, So you have to assign values to any variable. So normally in QTP automation front, how you'll define any of the variable is like int employee id. Okay, so this is how you can define variable name in this manner you can give. So before going that one, I will tell you one small concept like naming conventions. Okay, naming conventions, this one with respect to like any of the programming language, any of the variable name you can give like either alphabets or digits or both. Any of the variable name, it can contains like alphabets or digits. Okay, must start with alphabet. Here you are mentioning like alphabets and digits, but you cannot give like a zero name. Name one you can give, one name you cannot. Okay, the variable name you can give like name one, but not like one name. Okay, that one it will take invalid. Just a minute. See, it's given red mark. Okay, if I try to execute, it will throw you error. You cannot give variable name like this. Okay, so must start with alphabet. Okay, so it's giving some error, right? So must start with alphabet. There should be some limit. Okay, it should not exceed like 255 characters, and same time you cannot give name like spaces, it should not contain. Your name spaces it should not contain. Okay, so and meanwhile as soon as I give name, it's giving bold. What do you mean by bold? Bold means like these are words or keywords, you can say. Means keywords defined for specific purpose in your VB script. So you cannot give keywords for any of the variable. Okay, so here name I have given, so it's giving in bold. That means name is a keyword in your VB script, and you cannot give as variable name as name. That's why it's not giving an error. That means like if you give message box, it will give name. If you give, it will give you some value. Okay, so name is like I will name I have to tell means like I will tell you how I can tell is just a second. What I do is I will save this one. Okay, test 1 or sample test I am giving. Sample test. Okay, so here what is this exactly I will explain you. As of now I am telling like what is the advantage of name, I will try to show you. Okay, so what are the name you have given, that is the name is taken, right? Test1 it has taken, so test1 is given. Okay, so like this, for specific purpose the name you are using, so that's why you cannot define the keywords as variable names. Okay. Okay, so this is nothing but like that means like one more rule for name is like you cannot give keywords as variable names, should not contain space as well, or should not contain any special characters. Meanwhile special characters also you cannot give for your variable names. Okay, so these are the restrictions. And in VB script you have to define any of the variables means. Okay, so you can give like a dim int employee id, like this you will follow. Okay, so in your automation you have to come up with something, anything you should follow some standards, some process you should follow. Okay, so in VB script dimension you are defining there, any type of data you can store, but in automation you have to come up means variables you have to use means how you can use is you can prefix which type of data you are going to store in that variable. If you prefix, oh, see in one more thing, you are developing your automation framework means you are lifelong not staying for this project, right? Somebody else may get a chance to use this automation frame, at that time they have to understand means okay, so it's a little bit difficult, right? Which type of data you are going to store in this variable. So for better management and maintenance purpose, so like this some standards you will follow. It's not mandatory but it's necessary. Okay, it's not mandatory but it's necessary, you should follow this. What are, before starting your automation framework you will come up with some rules and regulations, some process, accordingly you have to follow. Okay, so int employee id you are giving means there in that variable you are going to store integer kind of data. Dim string first name means in this variable you are going to store string kind of data. Similarly str last name, that means there you are going to store string kind of data. Then dim int yes. Okay, so there you are going to store like yes is nothing but like integer kind of data, right? See here I have stored like int employee equal to 20, first name equal to some 30 I am giving, last name I am giving like equal to Joseph, and int is equal to some Ferry. Okay, message box. So message box in one command, that is for debugging purpose, mostly you will get in your VB script. Okay, so you want to valid, you want to test, you want to debug like specific variable at which point of time what exactly the value is storing, you have to find out means. Okay, you can use message box. Okay, so employee id. Okay, so I will try to go for like okay, I am running, it's working, right? So employee id is giving. Meanwhile what I am doing is like here 20 is given, what exactly that 20, you have to give like complete description. Okay, so means complete description you have to see means like employee id. So like this also you can pass it up, and you can concatenate two strings with the help of and. These are nothing but two strings, right? So you can concatenate with and. Okay, so employee id, so this is nothing but like first name, then last name and age. Okay, so if I execute, it will give you like complete description. Here I have given employee id. Okay, so employee id 20. Here first name I have given 43, but what I have given, str first name I have given, but string I have to store, right? This is logical error. That's what I said, during declaring is not mandatory but it's necessary. That's what. Okay, so you don't want to follow these standards, but if you follow, that is beneficial for you. So first name normally one more important thing is like in now if I execute, it will give correct value. Just a second. Now if I execute, it will display correct values. Okay, and remember here I haven't declared any of the variables. I haven't declared any of the variables, right? I haven't declared any of the variables, right? So in VB script, variable declaration is optional. Okay, in VB script, variable declaration is optional. Okay, so that is one more point you have to remember. So the thing is, my network got disconnected. That's why it's giving this is the problem. Just give me a second. What you will do is you have to initialize your variables before using any of the code, like sum equal to a plus, like that any of the instruction you are giving is before starting your program, real program, you have to initialize all the variables. But in VB script, that is also optional. So anywhere you can define any of the variables. That is the advantage of VB scripting. Okay, so that is the advantage of VB scripting. Anywhere you can define. Okay, see, employee id is giving 20, name, first name is giving first name, last name is giving Joseph, then 43. Okay, this is fine. Okay, okay, so now if you go for here, I haven't declared any of the variable. Okay, but you have to make, if you give it like this, what will happen is, see here you have to type first name, but by mistake I have given something, spelling is wrong, something like that. Here I have to, like first name I have to type, but these two characters interchanged. Okay, so if this is the case, if I execute with respect to you, these two are same variables, str first name and str first name, both are same, but with respect to qtp, both of them as different variables. Okay, so if you don't declare variables, this kind of problems you may come across. This kind of problems you may come across. So the best practice is, like, you have to declare, you have to make your variable declaration mandatory. Okay, the best practice is you have to make your variable declaration mandatory. Okay, so you have to make your variable declaration mandatory means, what you have to do is you have to define option explicit. Okay, yeah, how is it? Okay, just a second, I will share it up. Okay, yeah, what about now? You should be able to see all others, everybody same situation or what? Screen. Okay, now also, how is it? It's something, internet seems problem. So what are they? So I will disconnect and connect back. Okay, that one may resolve. I'm disconnecting and connecting back. Okay, you be in online ship, no issues. Okay, so this is the way you can come up with. The thing is, I have, it got disconnected, my network, that's why it's giving problem. Another way I will try to come up with. So VB script you have to come up means, for VB script, one is, one more advantage of VB script is, during introduction I could have told you. So the one more advantage of VB script is, like, you don't want to install any of the UI, you can directly use your notepad. Okay, so you can use your notepad, save as, so wherever you want in desktop itself, I will save it up, some VB script basics .vbs extension, you have to give .vbs. Okay, extension I am giving .vbs. So it has told, whenever you give .vbs, it will give like this. If you double click, okay, employee id equal to 20, first name. Okay, see here you observed, right? So this is the problem. So what you have given here, employee name, here you given, but here spelling you made wrong. At that time, with respect to you, these two are same variables, but with respect to VB script, both of them are different. Okay, so if I execute, what will happen, you see. Okay, employee ID correct, employee name, the employee name is wrong, right? Spelling is wrong, that's why QTP or your VB script unable to take this value. This kind of issues you may face. So you have to make your variable declaration mandatory. Means, what is the statement you have to give is, like, option explicit. Option explicit, you can use it. Okay, so whenever you give this statement at the beginning of your program, okay, that means you have to make, you made your variable declaration mandatory. You made your variable declaration mandatory. That means you should declare what are the variables you are going to use in your program. So now I'm copy paste here notepad and I'm saving. Okay, I'm saving. So if I execute now, let us suppose, so what happened here, I have used option explicit, but I haven't declared these variables. That's why variable is undefined. That's why I'm getting statements like variable is undefined. Okay, so if you mention this statement, you should declare what are the variables you are going to use, like dim okay. So now what I made, first name, last name, middle name I have used, but here spelling is still wrong. So your thought of like, so this is same, your thought of like both your spelling is wrong, like your spelling is correct, like that you thought of. So I'm going to like here in my notepad, I'm saving, so I'm just executing. So what will happen, you see, okay, employee ID, see, it's giving like variable is undefined. Okay, in case like this kind of spelling mistake, your script itself can, so at that time you will realize, oh, this is what first name, but spelling is wrong. You will realize and you will try to change the spelling of this variable. So that is the advantage of option explicit statement. That means you make your variable declaration mandatory, means you can go for option explicit. Okay, so this is best practice, always you can use like option explicit. And the naming conventions also in such a manner you can follow. Naming conventions also is not mandatory, but it's necessary. Okay, so these are nothing but like variables. There are two types of variables. Okay, so one more point is like here you would define dim, means empty employee ID, you are storing integer. That means at the time your VB script consider it as integer kind of data. This scenario, these two scenarios, it will treat it as string. In this scenario, it will treat it as integer. Okay, so here in these variables you are storing single values, right? Employee ID, here you are storing one value. First name, you are storing one value. Last name, here you are storing one value. Like that, scalar variables you can store single values. So there are two types of variables, right? So variables are of two types. Those are nothing but like scalar variables and array variables. Scalar variables stores single values. Then you may come across situation like in your class, which all are the students available, all students numbers you have to store in single variable. At that point of time you can go for like array variables. Okay, or another scenario like in your class, which all are the students available, all those students names you have to store in one variable. At that time you can go for like array variables. Okay, the purpose of arrays is can store multiple values, that means any number of values of single data type you can store. Okay, so that point of time you can go for like array variables. Okay, arrays again are of two types. Okay, arrays are of again two types, and variables you can declare like dim, private and public. The scope of the variables is like it will get vary. So private and public I will explain in detail like whenever I am explaining like functions and procedures. At the time I will explain you private and public. As of now you can remember dimension. Okay, then scope of variables, there I will explain you. You have to assign values to variables. So how you can assign values to variables? This is the way. Once you define variables, you have to assign, means this is the way you can assign values to variables. If values are like integers, you can store directly. If values are strings, you have to pass strings in double quotes. This is what you have to remember. Okay, then array variables. Okay, so holds multiple values of single data type. So you have to define arrays, means how you can define it, like there are two types of variables you come across in arrays: single dimensional arrays and multi-dimensional arrays. We go one by one. Option, explicit. I'm making my variable declaration optional, mandatory. Okay, so arrays, as usual, how you can define, like static variables. Static variables, how you will define? So like dim some name, whatever the name, int employee id. Exactly, arrays also you can define in similar manner, but only the difference is int employee id. So the purpose of array variables is like multiple values of single data type, right? So in this variable, how many values you have to store? That's it. If it is scalar variable, you don't give this one, but array variables, multiple values you have to store, right? So how many values you have to store? Just like that, you can give this one, you can call it like variable name and subscript, means how many values you are going to store in this variable. So like this you can define your array variables. Okay, so array variables contains two portions: variable name and subscript. So that means you are defining like this, means in this array you are going to store 11 values, not 10 values. Why? Array index always starts from 0 to 10, means is 11. Here 10 you are mentioning like maximum index of this array is 10. So array index always starts from 0. So 0 to 10 you can store. That means 0 plus 10, that is 11. So 10 values I have to give, means it's a bit difficult. So array 3 I give. Array 3 means how many values I can store here? 4 values. So I have to assign values to this array, means imp employee id of array index always starts from 0. So employee id of 0 equal to 0. Int employee id of 1. So is nothing but like 1, 2, 3, 3. Okay, so now if I give array index of 4, okay, so I will show you like what is the error it will give. Zero, 1, 2, 3. Here remember 3 I have given. So array index always starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. I have given additionally 4, but it will throw you error. So what is the error it will throw you? You see. So I'm pasting it to my notepad. Control S. Okay, see here, out of range. Number 5 you cannot, number 4 you cannot store. Okay, so that is the problem it's giving. So maximum till index 4 you can store. So now if I execute 0, 1, 2, 3, that's it. Okay, so like this, 4 values you can store into your array if you define like this. Array index always starts from 0. So this is nothing but like single dimensional array. This is nothing but like single, right? Single dimension you are using, right? So this is nothing but like single dimensional array. In your automation framework implementation, you will get a chance to go for like single dimensional array. You will never get a chance to go for like multi-dimensional array. Just for awareness purpose, I will try to say what is multi-dimensional array. Under multi-dimensional array, you are defining like this: 2 subscripts you are using. So that means it is 2-dimensional array. Means here 2 by 2. That means 2 rows, 2 columns. You will get a chance to use 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. Okay. So in your automation front, this one you don't get a chance, but just for awareness purpose I'm saying. So 2-dimensional arrays means 2 indexes you are using, just that's it. Okay. So okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. Arrays always stores like this, right? 0, 0, 0, 1. So I have to say means, you know, right? Matrix, in mathematics you come across matrix. Okay, I don't want to come up in detail. So like this, if you want to use means you can go for like multiple values you have to store, means you can go for like multi-dimensional arrays. You are giving like 2, that means it is 2-dimensional array. You are passing 3 indexes. So that means 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 2. Okay. So like this again. Okay, so here you mention 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 2. So like this you come across. Okay, so 2 to 4, 4, 3, 12, 12 you come across. Few more 3 you come across. Okay, few more 3 you come across, but you have to change accordingly here values. You have to change values accordingly here. Okay, so into you can put in middle. That's it. How many values you come across? 2 by 2, 4, 4 by 3, 12. 12 values you come. You have to change index accordingly. So that means 3 indexes. Like that, how many you are going? So like that, n-dimensional array also you come across. N-dimensional array also you come across. Okay. So this is nothing but like your single dimensional and multi-dimensional arrays, but in your automation framework implementation portion you will come across like single dimensional array only. Okay, so like this you can define holds 4 values. Okay, so this is how your multi-dimensional arrays you can define. Okay, again one more important feature you come across, like your arrays you can define in 2 ways, like static arrays and dynamic arrays. Arrays in QTP front you can define in VBScript timing. Okay, in 2 types of array, 2 types you can define. So those are nothing but like Okay, static arrays and dynamic arrays. So dimension int array, if I define like this, this is nothing but like static array. If I define like this is nothing but like static array. But sometimes you may come across situation in your automation framework implementation like you like dynamic handling kind of stuff. You may come across. Okay, so at that point of time, arrays also you can handle dynamically. That means like size of that array you can change, depends on your situation, depends on your requirement. Okay, so how you have to handle dynamic arrays means simply you can define like this. Okay, then you can assign like int array of 0 equal to 10 2 you are giving like means 3 values you can store. Okay, array index always starts from 0. Okay, so here you can give 20 30. So you have stored this array, but in middle what happened was you want to change the size of the array. So you have to change the size of the array means you can use one more variable like read. Okay, dimension int array of 5, int array of 5. So then what you can do is you can define variable like this, you can go for. Okay, so let us see what will happen, but I have to use message box, right? I have to use message box. Let me give like message box, it will get display values. Okay, so like this I'm giving. If I give like I'm saving, so what will happen you see. Okay, so first it's giving like 10 20 30, that is what, right? First you are having like 10 20 30, then next is to display this is the start code. You go. So this was it was expected. So the thing is like you have to redimension means here also you have to change any array size in middle means you have to define it as redim, then only you can redimension, otherwise you cannot change. Okay, so same code. Okay, I'm re-executing again. I just change redeem. Okay, so this is fine, right? But what happened? Okay, okay, fine. So 10, 20, 30, where it went 40? Something wrong here. Okay, okay, 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30, 50 is going directly. Something wrong in my dimension in declaration. Okay, so 1 2 0 1 2 3 4. That's it, right? Array of 5 means 6 values I'm storing. So here one more I can go like 5 and 60 I can give. Okay, 60 I can give. So here 5 I can give. Now it will give you like correct values. Okay, yeah, perfect. Okay, so like this you can go for. Okay, see, that is UI issue. First is not displaying anywhere, earlier it was not displaying, that is UI issue. Okay, so 10 20 30 40 50 60 it is. Okay, this is how you can come up with. Okay, okay, now what I am doing is I'm changing the values here. I'm changing the values here. Okay, now what it will display, you see, I'm changing values here. So what it will do, you see, okay, 10 20 30, this is first values, initial values whatever you assign, then it was changed, right? So the values entirely you are changing. Okay, so if this is what your requirement, you want to change earlier values and replace with new values, and how to use means this is the format you can go for. But my requirement is I don't want to change earlier values, but new values have to be added, some additional values needs to be added. Okay, my requirement is these values you should not change, only values I have to add, only few more values I have to add. So that point of time the syntax will get varied. So one keyword you will get a chance to use, so that is nothing but like preserve. Okay, so once you preserve keyword, if you use, what will happen, you see, I have used preserve, means when you use this keyword, what it will do is the existing values you cannot modify. Existing values as usual you have to use, but addition to that few more values you have to add to that array. At that point of time you can go for this 1 20 30, but here is not taking, right? Why? If you want to change, you can change. At that time you can assign with additional values. If you want to change, you can change. So at the time you can assign with additional values. If you don't want to change, you can delete these statements, just that's it. Okay, now I'm going for here, you see. Okay, so now if I execute, okay, 10 20 30, what happened? What is my code now? I have assigned any values to 0 1 2 after using preserve, but what is doing, earlier values is taking, you see, earlier values is taking, you saw, right? So earlier values 10 20 30, then 400 500 600 is taking. if your requirement is you don't want to change the existing items, with that one you have to add few more values at the end. At that time you can go for like preserve. Okay, so I'm deleting preserve. You see, I'm deleting preserve now, and I'm going for like changing. So now I didn't use preserve here, but I have commented these values. What will happen, you see? Okay, it don't display those values. You are getting right? It's not displaying array of 0, array of 1, array of 2. Okay, so if you define like preserve here, preserve, what will happen, you see? Okay, got it right? So redeem like whatever fixed size arrays and dynamic arrays, static arrays and dynamic arrays in your real time, sometime you may get a chance. Okay, sometimes you may get a chance to use. So this is nothing but like arrays. It's like little bit confusion. Once you practice like redeem, preserve, you will get to know very clear picture. Okay, just to practice it up. Okay, by the time, any questions, anybody? Any questions, whatever topics we covered so far? No questions? Okay, so very simple topic I will tell you. One more way of defining your array variables is like with the help of array function. Okay, so dim a equal to array of 100, 200, 300. This is another way of defining your array variables. Okay, so now you have to define those variables. So how you can use is like message box a of index always starts from 0, either of the case. Okay, so this is the way you can go for. Okay, so this one, if you go for like here, okay, 100, 200, 300. So this is another way of defining your variables. Array, with the help of array function. With the help of array function, you can define like this. Okay, whatever the way you feel comfortable, you can use it up. This is nothing but like array. And see, how many days you are working for this company, your employee ID never get varied, right? Okay, so that employee ID, it will never get varied. So for those kinds of data, what you can do is you can define like constant int employee ID equal to some name. So this is your employee ID. Whatever the variable you are defining with constant, across program the value will be stable, it will never get varied. Okay, so wherever you will use, it will never get varied. Okay, so like this you may come across this kind of situations. Okay, in your real time you may come across this kind of situation. So at that time you can go for defining any of the variable with a constant. Okay, so this is one more simple topic you come across. Okay, so this is nothing but like array, static arrays, dynamic arrays. Static arrays specific size cannot be altered. Dynamic array size you can change it up. So useful whenever array cannot determine. Okay, so this is the syntax for redeem statement. Redimension, preserve whatever I have given like square brackets, that is optional. Okay, so variable name and subscript how many values you are going to store. Okay, so then array function dim a, so this is the way you can define. Okay, so these are nothing but like little bit basics of your VB script. Okay, so I have unmuted. If anybody aware of already like these concepts, if you hear, it's little bit different from other programming languages like VB scripting. It will be giving you some idea. Okay, so it's not like based option. You can attend and 2 more sessions we may come across like conditional statements and iterative statements. Will take it up for tomorrow. So 1 hour we can finish up like conditional statements and iterative statements. Then our real VB script will get started. Means like automation front, which are the topics you come across, that one it will get started. Okay, so like test objects, utility objects, real VB script function, each and everything, day after tomorrow onwards will get started. Okay, so tomorrow session who all are aware of concepts, for them it will be little bit bore, but it will be like information for them definitely. Okay, so this is what I have for today. Anybody having any questions before ending our session? No questions? Okay, fine. Thank you so much for your time. Tomorrow same time we can meet up again. Okay, fine. Actually the thing is I haven't uploaded. I will upload and share it up. Okay.